Hello and welcome back to Sarah's Joyful Journey. This is going to be one of our Bookish videos. So let's go make some tea and let's start chatting. So I have my Royal Albert Miranda Kerr friendship mug in the blue, and this is some fireside chai, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites in the evening. It's lovely. There's no caffeine in it. It's an herbal tea. It's very, very pleasant. So I am super excited to sit down and have a bookish video with you. My goal is to do one a month. It might be two, just depends on timing and how much reading I accomplish. And we'll figure it out. But this one, we're going to do one for January. And I might do one either at the very, very end of January, right before February, or around the 1st of February. But since I'm not doing Tea Tuesday in its sense anymore, and I've had the request that I make my book videos separate because y'all are enjoying that, I was super happy to comply and I wanted to do it anyway. So I appreciate those that have given feedback that they wanted this section or a video like this, but honestly, you were going to get it anyway because I love talking about what I'm reading. As of filming, it is Tuesday, which is New Book Tuesday. And it's so exciting because Onyx Storm came out. I am still waiting for my physical copy of it to show up. It should be here tomorrow, although the tracking says Thursday, but it's already in Orlando. So I'm thinking tomorrow. It's okay because I was smart, and not only did I pre-order the special edition, I actually pre-ordered the Audible credit too. And I have been listening to it all day. I've listened to about 6 hours of this 23-hour book. And when I'm done recording this, I have to go and get my walk in, and I will be listening to it while I do my walk as well. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. What I'm reading, I have a couple other books that I'm reading that are personal development books, and I will pull them in probably in the next video. But for now, I just wanted to go over books that I have recently purchased, ones that I'm reading, one that I am not currently reading, but thinking that I might pick back up soon, and we'll go from there. All right. So the first book that I want to take some time and talk about is one that I kind of sort of DNF'd. I was about 160 pages in, and it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was just moving really slow. So this is A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is the book one in a romantasy series, and romantasy is something that I'm enjoying a lot of, and I'm working towards enjoying more fantasy as well. A little bit harder on some fantasy, but we'll get there, I'm sure. But why did I put this book down? I put this book down because at the time I was working on a master's degree and it was moving so slowly. But now that I've refocused on my goals to get to my future career, the program I entered is self-paced until September. As long as I finish that content before I start my live classes in September, I am good. And there's only 14 sections. So I haven't decided if I want to complete a section a week or if I just want to cut it in two. But either way, I now have more time for reading, which means I might pick this one back up because it was good. It's just been moving very, very slowly. And I heard that about this book, that it was kind of sort of like a slow build up, angsty, and it's kind of there. Yeah, don't want to give too much away, but she lives in a poor country and her brother has has been off fighting a war. So he comes back and they have an opportunity to escape. Well, her mother is has not found her or forgot her medication. So the daughter goes back and she gets captured and she trades her life to keep her family safe. And she gets hauled to this opposing kingdom and is completely like ripped out of everything that she knows and is plucked into this new thing in this opposing kingdom that she doesn't like. And she meets someone and it happens to be the king, and she's not very, very happy about it, but there's some tension and some things going on there. So that is pretty much this book so far. So I will probably pick it up again soon, maybe as soon as I'm done with my other one that I'm physically reading. But we'll see. I'll decide in a little bit, but I did want to talk about it because it is one of the books that I picked up for January. When we do our next one, I'll go through every book that I managed to read in January, which is probably not going to be a whole lot just because I lost so much time of reading, but it's okay. I will pick back up. And before I started school, I was reading 12 to 15 books a week. I don't know if I'll quite continue to be that many, but we should have multiple books. The next book is the one that I'm currently reading, and it's been going a little slow, and that's just because I haven't had time to read, but I'm going to have some time to read tonight and tomorrow and all that kind of thing. So I'm very, very excited about that. This one is Promise and Pomegranates, and it's by Svaha Miller. This is dark romance. And if you've never watched one of my Tea Tuesdays, you won't know this, but I love dark romance. I eat it up. It's one of my current favorite genres. Almost everything I read is dark romance in some form. A lot of the books that I've been buying have been dark romance in some form. But I'm still just, overall, I'm a romance girl. I'm not too picky when it comes to romance. I shouldn't say that because it's not quite true. But anyway, I love romance and will read contemporary romance and things like that. Historical romance, I usually give romance a try. If it has romance in it in some way, I am reading it. Definitely a romance girly. But anyway, this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and it's dark and spicy right from the get-go. And there's a lot of tension between the two main characters, but there's a lot of attraction between them too. And I'm really enjoying it. He's a doctor, but he also works in the mafia, and she's a mafia princess. So I'm not super far into it. I'm only about 145 pages into this book, and it is 428. No, wait, it is not. That's the acknowledgements. It is 425 pages. So I have like 300 pages, just under 300 pages to go. But I am very, very much enjoying this and looking forward to it. The next thing I want to talk about is, you will see a lot of it in our book videos, is this year I did something different, and I do have some more books that I should probably wrap, but I decided to wrap a lot of my books that I haven't read. So you'll see, usually the ones that are unwrapped are books that I've read, or they're like seconds and thirds in series. But yeah, so I have a lot of books that I haven't read, because collecting books and buying books and reading books are two separate hobbies. And while I am an avid reader and I do read so much each and every month, typically, I still tend to shop faster than I read, which I think is a trouble with a lot of people. And then I'm a slight mood reader as well. So I have all these books. I probably have well over 200 books that I need to read in my collection. But my goal is to get a library, so I still keep buying. But I'm running out of space soon. My husband really needs to put up some shelves for me tomorrow. But anyway, I can get decision paralysis trying to figure out which book to read next. So I took some of the element of that out of it, and I wrapped. I think I'm at 105 books that I've wrapped. I don't know how many, I didn't actually count. But I can tell from the outside that this particular one is paperback. I tried to keep all the books about the same size, so I can tell if it's paperback or hardback. They're all about the same thickness. So for example, I still haven't read this book, but it's absolutely massive. So I would be able to pick that book out of a lineup and know exactly what it is, and I probably would never pick it because I could pick it out. So now I have like 6 different types of paper, so I can pick based on, is it a hardback, a paperback, a little bit of variation on thickness, and and the color of the paper. So that's the only way that I can choose a book, and my goal is to read. Most of the books this year are going to be wrapped books. I unwrapped one a week ago. I should have grabbed it, but I will grab it when I actually start it. And I had a really tough day and I did not want to read it. I was in the mood. So I did go and I bought this book and one other book at that time. So that's why I'm reading this one. But in the past 2 weeks, I have added 5 new books to my list, some of which I'm super, super excited about, and I cannot wait. I'm trying really hard to make a list of all the books that I want, but Barnes & Noble really is probably a weekly treat for me, and I know that I'm going to have to cut down and be very particular on book spending because I'm working on my health coach certification to become a board certified health and wellness coach, and that is taking up a huge portion of the money that I would spend on books. Trust me, the schooling is more than what I would spend on books, but I have to contribute my book buying money to go into paying for that certificate. But it's okay because it's only for a year and that's temporary. But one of the first books that I got last week was Heavenly Bodies. And I believe this one is also a romantasy. It says, Can Love Overcome Fate? And it's a scorching romance is what it's labeled as. And it's book 1. And I love it because you've got the bright gold and the blue, and then it's purple. Purple and pink are my 2 favorite colors, with purple leading out pink, except when it comes to China. I don't have a whole lot of purple China, but honestly, I don't think they make a whole lot of purple China. So when it comes to collecting China, I like my Royal Albert and everything, it's pink for me. Just want to grab my tea while I can remember. As you can see behind me, I also really enjoy plants. So books, tea, plants, and China are those are my collection things. Those are my special interests and things that I really, really enjoy. So during this bookish series, you will definitely see me using some of my teacups, my tea sets, and things like that. This morning or this evening, I did not want a big cup of tea, so I just got a little one. All right. So back to this one. I'm just going to read a little bit of the back. It says, a runaway TikTok sensation, Heavenly Bodies is the first book in a dazzling new romantasy series that blends Greek mythology and shadow magic with a tantalizing enemies to lover romance that will rewrite the stars. This one was indie published, is my understanding, and now it is a traditionally published book. So I grabbed it, and you will learn that I am a sucker for sprayed edges and special editions. I will buy a book even if I already own it if it's a special edition. So I'm excited to add this one in because, again, it's got romance in it. So that means I am a romance girly, and I'm really enjoying it combined with the fantasy. Okay. This book also came out last week, and it sounds right up my alley of things that I would like to read. It is a contemporary romance and it's set in Scotland. If you put a romance in Scotland, I will also typically read it. How I got into reading romance started at the tender age of 16. I was introduced to the Outlander series, and that to date is my most favorite series. I have read most of the books in that series multiple times. I think the last 2 I've only been through like 1 to 3 times. I really need to go through it again. But I have so many books that I'm enjoying reading so that I haven't gone through it yet. And it's not a complete series yet. So I'm still waiting and have been waiting most of my life, it feels like, for this series to be done. I do not yet have a full series of books for Outlander. I'm working on it. I do want them in hardback. I have the newest one in hardback. That's a signed copy that I bought when it came out. And then I have I believe it's book 2. It might be book 3. No, it's book 2. I have a special edition, anniversary edition of book 2. So I do need to add the rest of those to my collection at some point as well. But yes, it started my love affair with Scotland, and I really do want to go. I am working on getting my passport soon because we're going on a cruise. And then my daughter said, maybe in 2026 or 2027, we're going to take a trip and we're going to do an Outlander Harry Potter tour because she loves Harry Potter. I love Outlander, and I enjoy Harry Potter too, don't get me wrong. And they both take place in Scotland. So we can do a mother-daughter trip and have a blast. And I cannot wait till when we actually get to do it. But anyway, I got Work in Progress, and this is by Kate Mackenzie. So the premises of this book, and it says on the very back, it says a warm, sexy, laugh out loud rom-com about women who are desperate for a fresh start, books on a literary bus tour across the UK, and consists of a lively group of elderly ladies plus one infuriatingly handsome Scottish driver. And it was sold at Rom-Com Books and Elderly Ladies because I have so many ideas of what this book could be already, and I think it's going to be fantastic. It says, Alice loves a good list, but careful planning didn't stop her from losing her job and her fiancé in one fell swoop. With her dreaded 30th birthday looming on the horizon, Alice makes the first impulsive decision of her life, booking a flight to the UK for a 3-week all-female literary bus tour. I would so do something like that. I would do a literary bus tour in England or in UK, or yeah, that would be fantastic. I would probably even do a literary book tour in the US because, well, we're talking about books and I clearly love books. So yeah. And it says, what could possibly go wrong? Turns out everything. Alice arrives to discover that the tour isn't what she expected at all. Instead of cool, globe-trotting 30-somethings with meaningful tattoos, she finds fluffy-haired octogenarians filling a rickety antique bus. And to make matters worse, the tour guide makes her blood boil. The devilish grin of his tells her he's dead set on making her trip a misery. But as they travel from castle ruins to cozy pubs, Alice may just find that she's got it all wrong. The ladies are vivacious, the book club chat is on fire, and damned if that mischievous smile doesn't threaten to turn her world upside down and her beloved list right along with it. So I am excited to dive into this at some point. This one and Heavenly Bodies are going to be ones that I would like to wrap. I don't know when I'm going to do them, but I do want to wrap them because I want to throw them into the mix so that I have a chance to read them sooner than later. But we'll see. I may not do that because I may leave them out for times where I just dependably know what I want to read and I could grab it too. So that's also an option. Then I also got this book last week, and it's also book 1 in a series. And it sounded pretty good. It's a romantasy, and the cover just kind of drew me because it's beautiful but simple. It's All the Things Real and Mystical, and that said it all pretty much to me. Real and mystical, it's a romantasy, that type of thing. I do apologize, my plant lights are going off, but it's a signed edition as well. So it says, a chance is worth trying when the alternatives are grim. Impossible days become the hope that saves lives. Charlotte has everything she could have ever wanted, or so she thought. A hardworking week working as a veterinarian may push her over the edge until she finds herself in a new realm, given 3 weeks to save her life. Her skills will be tested as she's confronted with animal patients unlike any she's ever seen. I was grabbed by that right there. Upon discovering bigger issues in Sagan, Charlotte is faced with the possibility of saving more lives than just one, an opportunity she can't refuse, even if it means risking her life. With every day spent in this world of mystical creatures, Charlotte starts to fall more and more than just it says fall. That's really a weird wording. Charlotte starts to fall for more than just the magic around her. Okay, I guess it makes sense. Levi has spent the past 13 years in Sagan. He has no intention of getting further involved in the problem arising around him or with the new mortal. However, Charlotte may force his hands and his heart. So romantasy sounded very good. The next two are books that just came out today, which again is January 21st, and I had to get them. I have not read any of this series yet, but it's one that is so highly rated that I know I'm going to love. So I've just been buying the books as they've been coming out. And this is the Legacy of Gods series by Rena Kett. Again, these were indie published and they're dark romance. And now they're being traditionally published with sprayed edges. So I did go ahead and pick up God of Ruin, which is, I think it's the third book. It doesn't say, because these are independent books. So yeah, I have the first book wrapped, but this is book number 4. So I will be getting the rest of these. And then this one just sounded fantastic. This one is not getting wrapped, but it will not be read. I will not start it until like the 1st of February because it is a Valentine's book and I do want to read it for Valentine's. So this one is called My Funny Demon Valentine, and it's by Aurora Asher. And it's got the beautiful sprayed edges, pink and purple, and what is not to love about that? And yeah, so this one, it says, clearly for Ash, a career as a musician isn't exactly an option. Plus, he's cursed. Sick of playing by the rules, Ash and his 3 brothers escape hell in search of freedom on Earth, but it's harder than they thought to keep their enemies off their tails. Yet everything changes for Ash when he meets the beautiful violinist who can see through his curse. No matter the risk, he has to have her. And it goes on from there. So it sounds super, super cute. And like I said, perfect for Valentine's Day. So we will be reading that one in February for sure. Book goals for 2025 need to be adjusted. I was planning to read 3 books. I have a feeling I will be able to read more than 3 books. But I want to keep it reasonable. So I think I'm going to adjust my total to, outside of January, I'm going to try for 5 books a month. So we'll have plenty of books to talk about and discover. And I hope that you enjoyed our first sit down of book talk. If you have any book recommendations, let me know down below because I'm always looking for new ones and I'm happy to consider pretty much any genre. I'm not a super big thriller person, but I don't mind. If it's well written, we can do it. All right. Well, I'm going to go finish my tea and get ready to do my exercise that I need to do. But if you've enjoyed this content, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that bell notification. I hope that you all have a wonderful and joyful night, and we will chat again about more books soon.